guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Arrow Season 1, Episode 21, and this is called The Undertaking. So let's talk about this episode. There's actually a lot that happens in this episode. Let's go character by character, I guess. Oliver and Felicity, they're trying to deal with Walter's kidnapping. Yes, Walter's actually brought up in this episode. So they have to deal with who actually kidnapped Walter. Moria and Merlin, Malcolm Merlin, they have something going on with them. They have been working together, and we've known that, but now Oliver actually finds out that Moria, his mother is not a good person, has been working with Malcolm. So that's the story with them. Thea didn't really have a story that much in this episode. The Laurel, Tommy, Oliver love triangle, but not love triangle is going on still. And Oliver admits his feelings to Laurel, because he says, I have so many lies in my life, I don't want to lie to you. So yeah, I do still care about you. So that leaves Laurel stunned. And then we do get to see Walter come back, so that was cool. And we get flashbacks, talking about more about the motives of Malcolm and him planting the bomb on Oliver's ship, or his father's ship really, to kill him. And then of course what's going on with the Glades. We don't know exactly. I think that story has to be developed a little bit more. But yeah, they're trying to build up that story with the Glades. And it seems like Malcolm wants to blow up the Glades, or get everyone destroyed in the Glades. That way he could build his own empire, I guess, or at least build the Glades into something better, because the Glades is obviously like a bad part of town and corrupt part of town. So he, in his own wacky mind, he wants to build, I guess, like kind of like his own empire. I think that's his motives. I don't think he just wants to do it to make it cleansed. I think he wants to do it for his own advantage. So we get to see that. I think that's why he wants to do it. And I think that's why we have the flashbacks, honestly. I thought this was actually a good episode. I don't think it's the best episode of TV of all time. And I don't think there's problems with this episode, but it's definitely one of the best episodes of Arrow so far. I think they finally listened to, not me speaking, but at least my, I think they actually, they kind of listened to the fans on this, and they finally have character development. I think that's one thing that this show has been missing, and they definitely did not have an episode where we just get character development. But I think this episode wasn't the villain of the week. It was really just story, and honestly, every episode should be like that. I mean, they should have the villain of the week, but it shouldn't be that's it. It shouldn't just have the villain of the week and let's move on. It had story, and it progressed the plot, and I think that's something we needed with this show. And again, I think it added layers to different characters. It's what this show should have been in the past with every episode, but they finally did it with this episode. I really love Felicity in this episode. I thought she really shined in this episode. I think she's one of those dark horse characters in this show, my favorite character so far, because I think she's a very interesting, humorous character. And I thought she was very entertaining in this. She finally went in the battlefield kind of in this episode, so that was entertaining. And Oliver called her a friend. I think what I've been wanting with this show is to see Felicity and Dig become more of Oliver's life, not just, hey, you're part of my team, you help me out when I'm hood, and that's it. She's finally becoming real friends with Oliver, and I think that was shown in this episode. I think that'll just grow when Walter is saved. Felicity's like, oh, it's a family moment, and then and Moria's like, who is that girl? And Oliver's like, she's my friend, and that's the first time he's ever said that. And I think finally she is going into more of his personal life to become friends, and I think that's just going to build these characters' bond, and I think become more interesting, because I want these characters to either be friends or enemies. That's something that's entertaining, and I'm glad this bond is growing with Felicity and Oliver. And I know a lot of people ship them. I definitely do too, but I also like Laurel and Oliver, and that's more of a Destiny thing with the comic books. So, but it's very interesting to see their friendship. And if you like Smallville, it's a very same dynamic as Chloe and Oliver, and I've always liked that. Kind of, they're so different, but I think that's why they're compatible. I like that they've grown on their friendship with this, and I thought I definitely clapped and Walter also said, yeah, she's my friend too, and I just like that she's getting more into the inner circle and becoming more of an important character. I mean, he wasn't in this episode that much, but even Oliver just going to his place makes him feel more real, and that bond feel more real, and that's been my complaint. I really think they should be more in Oliver's life, not just, hey, you work with me, co-workers. They're friends, and the only ones that really know the truth, and I think their bond should grow closer. I see that coming. You know, it's only the first season, but I see that, and that's what I really enjoyed with this. I have to say, I really chuckled when Laurel and Felicity met each other. I just felt like somehow we'll look back at that scene and say, wow, that's where the friendship started, because I have a feeling Felicity and Laurel will become friends somehow. I feel like there's that Black Canary Oracle type of destiny, and Huntress is obviously in this show also, so Birds of Prey destiny. And I felt like that was kind of a silent reference, and when I saw that scene, I was like, wow, I feel like that's going to be important, maybe like in season 4 or season 3, when maybe they do have the Birds of Prey, who knows. There's also a DC reference. Ted Cord was mentioned, Blue Beetle, so that was fun. I know I sometimes forget to mention the references, but yes, that was a reference. That was fun. That made me chuckle also. I think the references were fun. I thought it was kind of weird. I mean, I might be just thinking in my top of my head, but I thought it was a little weird that the villain was called Alonzo. The head of Marvel's Axel Alonso. Villain of this show last name was Alonzo. Is DC trying to do something there? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. I mean, maybe it was just a coincidence, but I thought that was kind of funny. I guess the only thing I didn't like was really the flashbacks in this episode. I don't think they were the best. I felt like they're kind of like we could put that together if we didn't have those scenes. I think we could have figured out what Malcolm was doing. Maybe it would have been more of a mystery seeing these bombs go into the glades without the flashbacks. Again, I think those are just insinuated. I think we knew Oliver was cheating on the sister, and all those scenes were insinuated, and I don't felt like we didn't really need them. Though those were a little bit boring in this episode. But maybe if we found out more about the sister with these flashbacks, that would have been different. But again, I just felt like we knew those things already. I think they were trying to build Malcolm's character. I still don't feel it that much. Some of it was forced, like when he was describing the murder of his wife. I felt that was a little forced, like they wanted us to feel emotion, but I didn't really feel it as him being a great villain. I just think it just depends on writing, and I just still don't feel him as that big villain. And I'm going to actually reference the originals for Vampire Diaries. There's a villain in the last episode for Vampire Diaries where I think his name was someone with an M, but he felt, with his first scene, he felt like a villain. He felt like he had some sort of mystery to him, and he was a villain. And I feel like that's what I want to see with the Dark Archer. I want to see from that very moment that he feels like a villain, but a likable villain that you want to see more of. And I don't feel that with Dark Archer yet. I don't think those flashbacks actually helped, and I think that was one of my problems with this, because I felt like it was more forced than anything. They were forcing feelings, and it didn't work for me. I thought the Laurel and Oliver scene were really touching. Even though I like Felicity and Oliver, I still want to see the Black Canary and Green Arrow relationship. If Black Canary even comes here, I still think they should develop Laurel's character more than just the romance. I think they should develop her character more, and I think they could have had a chance in this episode, but I guess there's a lot going on, so maybe they didn't. But I like kind of love triangle, but a different type of love triangle. I think love triangles get really, really annoying sometimes. Reference Vampire Diaries again, that love triangle is getting a little annoying now. But yeah, I think love triangles could get annoying unless you make something different out of it. And I think with the Tommy, Oliver, and Laurel love triangle, it is different. And that's what I kind of like with this, and I think it is interesting. We see a little bit of that in this episode, so that was fun. I guess Theo was a little annoying in this episode, even though she didn't do anything. I remember Moria was acting out because she finds out that Walter is dead, which he wasn't. And she's like, why is she acting like that? I'm like, oh, let's see. Maybe because she found out that her husband died? I mean, Thea was kind of like, she had some stupid questions in this. And I don't mind Thea's character, and I think she has places to grow also, but that was just like, yeah, Thea didn't have some shining moments in this. I guess another problem I had with this episode was Walter, honestly. Not him in general. I think he's a cool character, but I feel like we forgot about him. I don't think we really cared about him. I mean, and then when he came back, it's like, oh, okay. Like, I like Walter, I do. I think he's a cool guy, and I think Before we thought he had other motives, but now we're learning that he's actually just tied up in the middle of all of this. And I think we realize that more in this episode than ever. And I think he's cooler now that he doesn't have that mystery of, hey, maybe I'm the villain. Because that was before the whole Dark Archer thing, and before the Malcolm thing. So I thought he was an interesting character, but I didn't really care that he was back, and I don't think we were all waiting for Walter to come back. So it's cool that he returned, but I don't know what they're going to do with that character, and I hope it doesn't drag down the series, because again, I was fine with that, with him just leaving silently. I guess that's it, I gotta say. I was thinking of something else maybe about, oh yeah, I knew I had one other point. Now with Felicity, her motive to be on the team was to find Walter. So is she gonna leave now that Walter's found? I think that's also a question. I really hope she doesn't, and I hope maybe that's another thing, maybe a plot hole, a good plot hole, that they would just forget about it. But will she leave because of this? Because that was her goal. That's what she wanted to do. Or is she attracted to the vigilante-ness, or the vigilante? Because we know she does like Oliver. So will she stay? And I think that'll be interesting. And I'm sure we're going to see more of that in the upcoming episodes. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. More good than bad. You know, the flashbacks are a little boring. There were parts here and there that were a little boring. Maybe there's a little bit too much going on in this episode. But I think this was one of the better episodes, honestly. I think this is what every episode should follow. You know, good character development. You know, kind of edge of your seatness, but not really. But I think not a lot did get accomplished, and I think the main plot got accomplished, and we figured out there was a main plot. I think that's something that we haven't had. We had all these little one-shot villains, but we haven't had this main plot being driven. Like, I didn't really care about the Glades. I mean, I still don't, but at least they're referencing it now. Dark Archer is more of a threat, and again, I think it was just interesting to see all these characters interact and actually have some layers and develop those characters and make them more interesting. And I think they had that in this episode, and I think that's why it was cool. And some of my expectations that I wanted happened, you know, Felicity becoming more part of the group, and maybe the love triangle being a little bit more established. So yeah, I think it was a good episode. Again, it wasn't the best episode TV, but for an Arrow episode, I thought it was pretty good and solid. And I'm sure these next two episodes are going to be really good too. And I really hope it follows this. You know, I'm really hoping these last couple episodes, I think, again, 2 episodes left, really follow this pattern of being good and really surprising us and getting us excited for Season 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments below what you thought. I'll obviously have another review for Arrow next week and the week after until the season's over, and the Season 2 I'll be reviewing also. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys later. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the right situations, and tell me what you thought about this episode in the comments below. Bye, guys.